Okay, class, good morning. So for this week, our topic is all about Enterobacteriaceae. Okay, so let's talk about Enterobacteriaceae. So for the Enterobacteriaceae class, ano ba ang general characteristic ng Enterobacteriaceae? Unang-una, they are classified as opportunistic or overt pathogen. Okay? So baka sila opportunistic? Kasi class, most of them are part of the gastrointestinal flora. Ibig sabihin noon, kailangan natin sila sa ating intestine for us to have what you call a healthy gut microbiome. Okay? Again, karamihan sa kanila, part ng healthy flora ng ating intestine. Yung iba naman, nakikita from the environment. So normally, hindi sila dapat mag-cause ng sakit. Nagko-cause lang sila class ng sakit kapag napunta sila sa other side of the body. For example, E. coli, di ba? Ang E. coli or Escherichia coli, talagang part yan ng intestine mo. Kailangan mo yan para meron kang healthy gut microbiome. Okay? However, class, kapag yung E. coli, it is able to gain entry sa yung urethra, napunta siya sa urethra mo, doon ka magkakaroon ng UTI. Okay? Now, the E. coli, pwede rin siyang makapunta sa blood mo, causing sepsis or septicemia. It can also go to your brain, causing meningitis. So kapag nagkausa ng sakit si E. coli, napunta siya sa ibang site, opportunistic infection na yon. Okay? However, kapag ang E. coli mo nasa intestine mo lang, nasa colon mo lang, ang E. coli mo, hindi siya pathogen. Okay? It is part of the flora. So that's an example. Okay? Kaya tinawag na opportunistic pathogen. Yung isang group is the overt pathogen or what you call the primary intestinal pathogens. So kapag primary intestinal pathogen, these are microorganisms that are never part of the flora. Okay? Na kapag nakain mo yan, talaga magkakaroon ka ng infection. Usually, it causes watery diarrhea, particularly for the Shigella and Salmonella. Yung iba naman, pwede mag-cause ng type of fever tulad ng Salmonella, di ba? It causes typhoid fever, right? And for the Yersinia, it causes bubonic plague, okay? So, kapag tinamaan ka ng tatlong yan, talagang true pathogen yan. So, hindi sila part ng flora. Ano pang another characteristic ng Enterobacteriaceae? So, again, they're all gram-negative bacteria. Okay? And then, you can grow them or culture them in McConkey agar. Now, once you're able to culture them, this bacteria is able to utilize carbohydrates. Ano yung mga carbohydrate na pwede nilang ma-utilize? All Enterobacteriaceae are capable of utilizing glucose. So lahat ng Enterobacteriaceae, they can utilize or ferment glucose. Some can ferment sucrose, some can ferment lactose. Yung iba, pwede rin sa sucrose, yung iba pwede rin sa lactose. Pero ang common characteristic nila is lahat sila, they're able to ferment glucose. Okay? Pagdating naman sa catalyst test, all of them are catalyst positive except for Shigella. And for the oxidase test, all of them are oxidase negative except for the Leishmaniasis. So that is the general characteristic ng Enterobacteriaceae mo. So let's first talk about the opportunistic human pathogens. Okay. So for the opportunistic human pathogens class, the first of significance is of course the Citrobacter. So ano class ang characteristic ng Citrobacter bacteria na yan? So tandaan nyo class na ang Citrobacter, kaya tinawag siyang Citrobacter kasi nga, it loves citrate. It utilizes citrate as a source of carbon. So if you're going to culture that on the Simon citrate agar, it's going to give positive reaction. So when you see positive reaction, it means it will grow on the Simon citrate agar utilizing the citrate, plus it will also yield blue color on that culture medium. Yan ang characteristic Citrobacter. Yung iba naman ng Citrobacter, some Citrobacter can also produce H2S or hydrogen sulfide gas. Kapag gumawa sila ng hydrogen sulfide gas, they will produce black precipitate. Okay? Now, some Citrobacter naman actually class, all Citrobacter are classified as late lactose fermenting. Ibig sabihin noon, if we culture them on the McConkey agar, within 24 hours, they will appear as light pink or yellowish. Okay, so kapag nag-culture ka sa McConkey agar, within 24 hours, ang itsura niya is yellowish to light pink. However, kapag more than 24 hours na, dun pa lang siya nagiging pink. Okay? Ang colony niya sa McConkey agar. Kaya tinawag siyang late lactose fermenting. So, anong significance ni Citrobacter? For the Citrobacter class, again, part siya ng ating flora. However, pwede siya mag-cause ng infection tulad ng wound infection, respiratory tract infection, bacteremia, endocarditis, and so on. Okay? Usually, it happens sa mga immunocompromised patient. And you have three species that are commonly isolated. You have the Citrobacter frondi, Citrobacter cosseri, and Citrobacter brachy. Okay, so that is your Citrobacter. Another bacteria is the Chronobacter. Ang Chronobacter naman class, this is a common contaminant sa mga milk, sa mga gatas, di ba? Kasi nga, it loves the shalic acid found in breast milk, infant formula, mucin, and ganglioside. That's why, minsan class, yung mga gatas na panis na or sira na, nagkakaroon sa ng yellowish pigment. Yung yellowish pigment na yun, that is a sign na meron ng Chronobacter zakazaki yung gatas, na contaminate na ng bakterya. So kapag yung gatas medyo dilaw-dilaw na, huwag mo na siyang iinumin, di ba? Kasi nga, may mga bakterya na yan. What will happen to you kapag na-infect ka ng Chronobacter? Pwede ka magkaroon ng bacteremia, meningitis, and necrotizing colitis, especially in children, in neonates, di ba? Yung mga bata na umiinom ng infant formula, kapag yung gatas nila ay kontaminado, itong mangyayari sa kanila. Okay? Meningitis, bacteremia, and necrotizing colitis in neonates. Okay? That is for the Chronobacter zakazaki. Another one is the Edwardshella. Ang Edwardshella class, makikita mo rin siya sa tao, pero hindi siya commonly found. It is commonly found sa intestine ng mga reptiles, fishes, and turtles. Also from the environment ng Edwardshella. Okay? So again, very rare mo siya makita sa tao. If ever kung nakita mo sa tao si Edwardshella tarda, it causes infection, particularly wound infection. Kaya nga, it commonly causes what you call myonecrosis, wound infection. Kapag naman nakain mo siya from contaminated food and water, pwede ka magkaroon ng gastroenteritis that can lead to sepsis, meningitis, and liver abscess. So that is for your Edwardshella. Now for the Edwardshella, ano ang kanyang characteristic? It is non-lactose fermenting ang Edwardshella mo. However, it also produces H2S, just like your Citrobacter. However, the difference of that with the Citrobacter is it is negative on the citrate medium. Negative siya sa citrate medium. Okay? Now, next is Enterobacter. For the Enterobacter, you have two significant species. Meron kang Enterobacter aerogenes and Enterobacter cloaceae. Ano class ang significance nila? Well, they commonly cause infection by contaminating medical devices. This is an nosocomial pathogen. So they can contaminate respirators, medical instruments, causing infection. Ano ang characteristic ng Enterobacter? For the Enterobacter class, they are classified as lactose-fermenting bacteria. Okay, when you say lactose-fermenting, ibig sabihin noon, sa MacConkey agar, they will give you pink colony. Kasi nga lactose-fermenting yan. Okay? Now, for the Enterobacter naman, they also produce capsule. That's why kapag nag-culture ka, may kita mo yung kanyang colony, it is mucoid. It produces mucoid colony kasi nga it is capsulated bacteria. May capsule siya. Okay? So, if you inspect the colony, it is very similar to the colony of the Klebsiella. That's why they are commonly misidentified with each other. So to confirm if it is really Enterobacter, what is the test you're going to check? You're going to check for motility testing because most Enterobacter are motile. Most Klebsiella are non-motile. So yan ang kanilang difference. Okay? So that is for the Enterobacter. Now let's go to Escherichia coli. So for the E. coli, this is another lactose fermenting bacteria. So I just want you class to classify ha. Again, natandaan niyo yung classification natin. Ang Enterobacteriaceae, it grows in MacConkey agar. Sa MacConkey agar, meron kang tatlong reaction dyan. Either lactose fermenting, non-lactose, or late lactose. Kapag sinabi mong lactose fermenting, this is what it looks like. The colonies are pink. Pink ang colonies kapag lactose fermenting like this one, also this one. Okay? Kapag naman non-lactose, ibig sabihin the colonies are yellowish or colorless like this. Ito yung mga non-lactose fermenting. Okay? Kapag naman late lactose, within 24 hours, very light pink to yellow or light pink siya within 24 hours. Pero after 48 hours of incubation, dun pa lang siya nagiging pink. So, sino yung mga lactose fermenting muna natin? Okay? When you say lactose fermenting, tatlo yan. KEE. That refers to Klebsiella, Escherichia, and Enterobacter. Again, tatlo yan. Klebsiella, Escherichia, and Enterobacter. Those are the three lactose fermenting bacteria ng Enterobacteriaceae. So how do you separate the three lactose fermenting bacteria? Ano una mo titignan na test? Take a look at the citrate reaction, okay? Because citrate reaction is always positive for Klebsiella and Enterobacter. However, it is negative for E. coli or Escherichia coli. Okay? So kapag lactose fermenting, citrate negative, check the indole. If the indole is positive, ang sagot na is Escherichia coli. Okay? However, if the citrate is positive, babalik ka sa dalawang choices, either Klebsiella or Enterobacter. Okay? So ano naman ang difference ni Klebsiella versus Enterobacter? How do you separate them? You may perform the motility testing. Most Enterobacter are motile, most Klebsiella are non-motile. So that's how you separate the two. Okay? Yung isa namang classification, the late lactose fermenters, dalawa lang yan. You have the Citrobacter and the Serratia. And how do you separate the two? Okay? Again, ang Citrobacter, it grows sa citrate, agar, plus it gives H2S. Okay? It gives H2S. That is Citrobacter. Ang Serratia naman, it is DNase positive o NPG positive. Yan ang mga test to separate them. Okay? And then the rest ng bacteria na natitira are classified as non-lactose fermenting. So technically, ang i-memorize mo, 5 lang, di ba? Memorize mo yung tatlong lactose fermenting, KEE, di ba? Plus yung dalawang late lactose. And then the rest, non-lactose fermenting na siya. Okay? Okay. So let's go to the E. coli. Now, again, bakit ko pala sinasabi yung mga differentiating characteristic nila? Kasi nga, your midterm exam will be case study. Kapag case study, ibig sabihin no, nakalatag lahat ng resulta ng mga test. And you have to identify ano ba yung bacteria. So you practice elimination, 'di ba? O let's say may mga resulta na nakalatag, nakalagay doon lactose fermenting. O kapag lactose fermenting 'yan, edi tatlo na lang ang choice mo, either Klebsiella, Escherichia or Enterobacter, 'di ba? O, so that's why you have to take note sa mga sinasabi ko na differentiating characteristic kasi yan ang lalabas sa midterm exam nyo. Hindi ka makakasagot na sa midterm exam kung hindi ka nagtitake note sa akin ngayon. Okay? Now, next is the E. coli. So for the E. coli class, anong kanyang characteristic? So sabi ko nga kanina, it is lactose fermenting, citrate negative, indole positive. Kahit yun lang, E. coli na yung class. Okay? Ano pa ang characteristic? If you culture that on the EMB agar, it can give you greenish metallic sheen. Pagdating naman class sa infection, it causes a wide range of infection. It commonly causes UTI. Basta UTI class, matik yan, E. coli yan class. Again, ang E. coli ang common cause ng UTI. Besides that, pwede siya mag-cause ng diarrhea and CNS infection that can lead to meningitis. Okay? So, pagdating class sa mga infection niya, meron siya mga pathogenic strain tulad ng UPEC and MNEC. Kapag UPEC class, this is the uropathogenic. This is the one that commonly cause, definitely, UTI or urinary tract infection. Yung mga MNEC naman class, this is the one na merong capsule. This is the capsulated strain or what you call the K1 capsule positive. Okay? Ang mga K1 capsule positive na yan, ano magiging disease nila? Definitely, sepsis and meningitis. Kasi nga, meron silang capsule. Okay? Yung mga intestinal pathogen ng mga class, ito yung pwede mag-cause ng gastroenteritis or diarrhea. So, manifestation ng mga to, lahat ay diarrhea, gastroenteritis. Okay? Sometimes yung iba, UTI. Okay? Pero again, they are primarily considered as intestinal pathogens. So, isa-isayin natin sila. The first one is the ESTEC, formerly known as EHEC or enterohemorrhagic E. coli. Ito yung former na pangalan niya. Pero ngayon, serotoxigenic E. coli na siya. Okay? Now, for the serotoxigenic E. coli, ano kanya magiging effect? Ang magiging effect niya is either you're going to have the hemolytic uremic syndrome or the hemorrhagic diarrhea and colitis that is being caused by the O157H7. So, delikado ang HAS. Delikado class ang HAS. Kasi kapag nagkaroon ka ng HAS, that's a sign na yung infection umakyat na siya sa urinary tract mo, it actually affects your kidneys. That can lead to kidney failure, hemolytic anemia, and low platelet count. Yan ang consequence ng HUS or hemolytic uremic syndrome. Kapag naman hemorrhagic diarrhea and colitis, you're going to have watery diarrhea with bleeding. Meron kang blood on the stool. Kasi nga, hemorrhagic type of diarrhea. And then your colon will be inflamed because of that infection. Okay? Yan ang effect ni O157H7. Bakit ka nagkakaroon ng ganyang manifestation? Bakit bloody diarrhea? Bakit meron kang hemorrhagic diarrhea? Bakit meron kang HAS, 'di ba? Okay. So yung reason bakit meron kang hemorrhagic diarrhea and hemolytic uremic syndrome is because of the toxin being produced by the EHEC. Ang tawag sa toxin niyan is the virotoxin 1 and virotoxin 2. The virotoxin 1, it acts just like the toxin of the Shigella, wherein it produces cytotoxins. It is a cytotoxin that can actually destroy the mucosa of your intestine. So, nasisira mo yung mucosa ng intestine, nagkakaroon ka ng hypersecretion, and then nagkakaroon ka ng bleeding. Kasi nga, sinisira niyo yung cells ng intestine mo. Okay? Kaya tinawag siyang Shigella-like toxin, the virotoxin 1. Okay? So, how do you identify O157H7? You may culture in the S-MAC agar, or what we call the sorbitol maconchi. If the culture colonies are colorless, then the answer is O157H7. Okay? Another test is to perform the MUG assay. For the MUG assay, the result of that will be no fluorescence. Unlike other bacteria, kapag E. coli kasi class sa MUG assay, the result is always electric blue fluorescence, except for O157H7 that will give you no fluorescence on the MUG assay. Okay? So that is for the EHEC or the ESTEC. Next is the ETEC that is known to cause the traveler's diarrhea. So nakukuha mo ito sa contaminated food and water. Ibig sabihin ng class, nakainom ka ng tubig na kontaminado ng feces ng tao. Okay? Yan ang reason why nagkaroon ka ng traveler's diarrhea. So it has villi that attaches to your gastrointestinal mucosa. It also has toxins, heat-labile and heat-stable enterotoxin that can destroy the cells of your mucosa, kaya nagkakaroon ka ng profuse watery stools. Okay? For the enteroinvasive E. coli naman, you're going to have a condition known as dysentery. Now, the dysentery is very similar to the effect of the Shigella infection, wherein meron ka ring bloody diarrhea dyan. Bloody diarrhea, however class, the fecal leukocytes are abundant kapag meron kang EIEC. Okay? Next is the EPEC. For the EPEC naman, this is known to cause infantile diarrhea or chronic diarrhea of the children. Okay, so what happens? So meron kang watery stool. However, the stool is non-bloody diarrhea, vomiting, fever that can be seen in children. And then the stool has mucus, large amount of mucus. So watery diarrhea, walang blood, pero merong mucus. Yan ang characteristic ng EPEC. For the enteroadherent and enteroaggregative E. coli, so dalawang klase yan. Enteroadherent, this is the DAEC. Enteroaggregative, this is the EAEC. Kapag DAEC, it causes UTI and diarrhea in children. Also, recurring or chronic UTI. Kapag naman enteroaggregative, it causes gastroenteritis, particularly sa mga patient with HIV. Okay, so ang characteristic niya is that meron kang stool na watery diarrhea, however, white blood cells and red blood cells are absent from the stool. Walang mga red cell or white blood cells sa stool, only watery diarrhea. That is for the EAEC. Okay? So these are the summary of the relevant E. coli. Okay? Yan. So ito yung sinabi ko rin kanina, nakasummarize lang. Also this one. So let's go to half niya. So for the half niya naman class, this is part of the environment. Okay? So nakukuha mo siya from eating contaminated food tulad ng meat and dairy product. Hindi siya normal na nakikita sa ating katawan. Okay? Kaya opportunistic lang siya. So ang characteristic niya is that it is delayed citrate positive. Now, half niya alveoli, associated lang siya class. Meaning, hindi siya cause ng infection. So pag nagkaroon ka ng gastroenteritis, possible na ma-isolate mo ni si half niya alveoli kasi nga part siya ng environment. Okay? Next is the Klebsiella. For the Klebsiella class, so sabi ko nga kanina, it is also lactose fermenting. However, meron siyang capsule. That's why yung kanyang colony is mucoid like this one. So this is color pink kasi nga lactose fermenting siya. Mucoid kasi nga meron siyang capsule. Now, for the Klebsiella, again, part ito ng flora natin. So, pagdating sa infection, meron tayong different types of infection based on the species. But the commonly isolated is, of course, the Klebsiella pneumoniae. Pagdating sa infection, Klebsiella pneumoniae commonly causes UTI. Okay, actually, class, isipin nyo baka pneumonia kasi nga pneumonia, di ba? Actually, class, yes, it also causes pneumonia. However, it is more commonly associated with UTI. It commonly causes UTI. Kasi nga class, ito, yung Klebsiella pneumoniae niya, nilalabas mo yan from your intestine. It's part of the flora. So from your anus na may Klebsiella, kapag dumudumi ka at hindi ka naglinis ng maayos, pwede siya maiwan sa anus mo. It can go up to your urethra, causing UTI, just like the E. coli. Okay? Kaya nga class, pagdating sa sakit, ang Kleb pneumo, it commonly causes UTI. After UTI, it causes pneumonia. Magkakaroon ka lang ng pneumonia dyan if magkaroon ka ng tinatawag na gastrointestinal perforation. Ibig sabihin noon, from the colon na punta sa blood, going to your lungs. Kaya ka nagkaroon ng Klebsiella pneumoniae infection or pneumonia. Okay? Again, meron siyang capsule. That's why pwede rin siya mag-cause ng sepsis. So, anong kanyang characteristic? Again, most of them grow sa Simon citrate agar. However, most of them are non-motile. Variable ang motility, but most of them are non-motile. Okay? Next is the variant of the Klebsiella pneumoniae. So for the Klebsiella pneumoniae, meron ka mga different variant pa. Meron kang CC2-3K1 that can cause acquired pyogenic liver abscess. Okay? And then you also have the CC82K1 that can cause severe pneumonia and bloodstream infection. Those are the variants of the Klebsiella pneumoniae. Yung other species naman, you have the Klebsiella oxytica that can cause antibiotic hemorrhagic colitis. You have rhinoscleromatis and ozone that can cause infection on your upper respiratory tract, particularly the rhinoscleroma, wherein magkakaroon ka ng infection in your nasal cavity that will cause your nasal cavity to swell and can lead to malformation of the entire face and neck. Yan ang kanyang consequence. The ozone naman class, it can lead to UTI, sepsis, and even respiratory tract infections. So those are the conditions associated with the Klebsiella bacteria. So how do you differentiate the three significant species? Again, pare-pareho silang citrate positive. Kaya nga sila ay Klebsiella. Pangalawa, tingnan mo yung indole reaction. If the indole is positive, ang sagot mo dyan, oxito ka na. Okay? Ang nag-iisang indole positive na Klebsiella is of course the oxytoca. The rest are negative sa indole. Okay? So how do you separate Klebsiella pneumoniae from Klebsiella pneumoniae ozone? Okay? So what you do is you check for the MRVP reaction. Take note that the VP or the Vogt-Pascaro test for the subspecies pneumoniae is positive, whereas the VP test for the subspecies ozone is negative. So kapag ozone, VP negative. Kapag pneumoniae, VP positive. Okay? Yan ang characteristic nila, Klebsiella. Again, class, do not memorize all of the result. Kasi mababaliw ka, class. You cannot memorize that impossible na memorize mo yan. So, para makapasa ka sa exam, only take note dun sa mga sinasabi ko na differentiating characteristic. Kaya nga, di ba, konti lang ang binabagit ko. Ito lang, yung mga unique characteristic nila. Yun lang ang kailangan mong tignan dyan. Okay? Pagdating naman sa Enterobacter, again, similar sila kay Klebsiella, di ba? Ang difference sila is the motility. As you can see, Enterobacter is motile, Klebsiella is non-motile. And how do you separate Cloaceae from erogenous? You test for the lysine decarboxylase. If the decarboxylase is negative, the answer is Cloaceae. If decarboxylase is positive, the answer is erogenous. Okay? Those are the tests to differentiate them. Now, next is the Morganella. Now, the Morganella, this is part of what you call the PMP group. When you say PMP group, that comprises the Proteus, Morganella, and Providentia group. They belong to the tribe Proteae. So, anong characteristic ng mga Proteae? Lahat ng Proteae, they're able to produce the enzyme phenylalanine deaminase. So, they are PAD positive. Okay? Kapag PAD positive, ibig sabihin noon, they produce the enzyme phenylalanine phenylalanine deaminase enzyme. Okay? So they produce the phenylalanine deaminase enzyme. Okay. So tandaan nyo class, lahat ng Enterobacteriaceae negative dyan, except for PNP group. Silang tatlo lang ang magiging positive sa phenylalanine deaminase enzyme. Okay? So, before we go to the other PNP group, balikan muna natin sa Morganella. Okay. So, si Morganella class, actually, si Morganella, part yun ng flora natin. Kapag naka-isolate ka niyan, hindi siya talaga kinoconsidered as significant pathogen. We only consider that as normal flora. Reported lang yan as normal flora class. However, kapag nakuha mo siya sa urine and blood, doon lang siya nagiging significant. So kapag stool, reported as normal flora. Kapag urine and blood, reported as significant, di ba? So it can cause UTIN, neonatal sepsis. So that is for your Morganella morgani. Okay? Now, again, kaya nga siya class, commonly isolated lang. Kasi nga, part siya ng flora. Talagang nasa stool yan. However, clinical significance has not been clearly defined. Okay? Usually, associated lang siya kapag may gastroenteritis. Kasi nga, talaga nasa stool mo siya. Okay? Pero hindi siya yung cause ng infection. That is for the Morganella morgani. Next is the Pantuia. Ang Pantuia class, environmental isolated to. Nakikita to sa mga halaman, sa soil, water, plants. Okay? That's why it can cause wound infection that can lead to septic arthritis and even osteomyelitis. Okay? So, next is the Plesiomonas. So, pag class ang Plesiomonas, nakukuha ito sa aquatic environment, particularly sa freshwater, estuarine water, or even sometimes, actually dalawa lang pala, freshwater and estuarine water. That is for the Plesiomonas. However, class ang Plesiomonas kasi, kapag nakakuha ka ng Plesiomonas, possible na makuha mo rin si Aeromonas kasi lagi silang magkasama sa environment. Okay? So, how do you separate the two? You're going to perform DNA test. Take note that Aeromonas is DNA is positive, Plesiomonas is DNA is negative. Okay? That is to separate Aeromonas from Plesiomonas. Kasi nga, magpareho lang sila ng class ng environment. Okay? Now, another one is that Plesiomonas is the only Enterobacteriaceae that is oxidase positive. Siya na nag-iisang member ng Enterobacteriaceae that is oxidase positive. So, ano ang significance ni Plesiomonas shigelloides? Again, it causes gastroenteritis in children. However, class, yung pagtatai ng bata, it can cause a chronic disease that can last from 14 days or 2 to 3 months. So, 3 buwan kang nagtatae kapag meron kang Plesiomonas shigelloides. So, however, class, most of the time, it only causes diarrhea lang, watery or secretory diarrhea that is self-limiting. Ito yung magtatae lang yung bata ng isang araw nang siya magtatae, kinabukasan wala na. So kapag ganun, no need for antibiotic treatment. However, class, kapag napunta ka doon sa chronic stage na 3 buwan ka na nagtatae, kailangan na ng antibiotic treatment dyan. Okay? Antibiotic treatment is only indicated in severe and prolonged cases. Besides that, possible na mayroong complications sa mga bata tulad ng meningitis, bacteremia, sepsis, and septic shock. Okay, that is for Plesiomonas shigelloides. Now, next is the Proteus and Providentia. Okay. So, again, ang Proteus and Providentia, part sila class ng PMP group, di ba? Sabi ko nga kanina, they are phenylalanine deaminase positive. So, how do you know that you have Proteus? So, Proteus muna unahin natin. Okay? So, ang Proteus class, this is the only one that has H2S. So, it produces hydrogen sulfide gas that will give you black precipitate. Basta may H2S, Proteus na class ang sagot. Now, ang Proteus, isa pa nilang characteristic is that they tend to swarm. They are highly motile. Okay, motile sila. That's why, kapag nag-culture ka sa kanila, they have what you call a swarming phenomena. So, from their existing colony, gumagapag na agad yung mga bacteria, forming a swarm like this one. Okay? And then they're going to form another colony over here. Kaya siya kumakalat or meron siyang swarming phenomena. But sa swarming phenomenon, iisa lang yan. Proteus lang ang sagot class. So you have H2S positive, meron kang black precipitate, plus swarming, the answer is Proteus. Another characteristic ng Proteus is that it is rapid urease positive, meaning within 2 hours of the urease test, magkakaroon kaya ng positive reaction. So, anong significance ng kanyang pagiging rapid urease positive? Kasi class, ang sakit that you can get from produce is commonly UTI infection. Ito yung common. It causes upper UTI or pyelonephritis. Bakit upper UTI? Kasi nga class, it is highly motile. Motile siya, like this one. Okay, nag-swarm nga siya, di ba? So, umaakyat siya doon sa urinary tract mo. Okay, causing pyelonephritis or upper UTI. Now, besides that, since ito nga ay mataas ang kanyang urease activity, tulad ni Proteus mirabilis. Sa Proteus mirabilis, it has a very high urease activity. When you say urease activity, ibig sabihin nun, naglalabas siya palagi ng urease enzyme. Kaya nga, class, kapag nag-urease test ka, within 2 hours, meron na siyang positive reaction. Ano ba ang effect ng urease? Urease, that is the enzyme that degrades urea. Okay? Saan ba nakikita ang urea? Sa urine ng tao. Okay? So, ang ginagawa class, si Proteus, since nag-cause nga siya ng UTI, nandun na siya sa urinary tract mo na maraming urea, maraming urine, di ba? Maglalabas siya ng maraming urease enzyme to degrade all of that urea. Okay? Kapag na-degrade na class yung urea na yan, ano mangyayari? It will form ammonia as a byproduct. Yung ammonia na yan, it will react sa calcium sa katawan mo, causing kidney stone formation. Kaya ka nagkakaroon ng UTI with kidney stones or renal calculi if you get infected with the Proteus mirabilis. Yan ang effect class ni Proteus mirabilis infection. Okay? UTI with renal calculi because of the strong urease activity ng Proteus mirabilis. Yung isa naman, the Proteus vulgaris, UTI din. Okay? So, most commonly, pyelonephritis. However, yung kanyang urease activity hindi ganun katindi, unlike the mirabilis, di ba? Kaya nga class, pyelonephritis lang, pero walang kidney stone kapag Proteus vulgaris. Okay? So, ano pa ba? Again, so how do you separate Mirabilis from Vulgaris? You have to perform the indole test. Take note that Mirabilis is indole negative, Vulgaris is indole positive. Besides that, you may also take a look at the ornithine test. Mirabilis is ornithine positive, Vulgaris is ornithine negative. Yan ang difference ng dalawa. Okay? Now, next is the Providencia. Ang Providencia kasi class, environmental isolate kasi talaga to. Okay? So, pwede rin siya mag-cause ng UTI, pwede rin siya makita sa feces ng children with diarrhea. Pero, hindi siya yung cause ng gastroenteritis. Isolated lang kasi nga, nakikita rin siya class sa ating colon. Okay? Now, this organism has been associated only with healthcare-associated outbreak. Again, associated lang siya. Hindi siya cause ng sakit, associated lang. Kasi nga, you can find this sa environment or sa intestine ng tao. Okay? Now, for example, the Providencia rhtgeri, this is associated with UTI and diarrhea among travelers. For Storti naman, this is seen sa mga infected burn wounds. For Ecaliphaciens, this is seen in children with diarrhea. Okay, those are the three important species of the Providencia. So going to the identification. Okay? So kanina na-identify na natin ang Proteus, di ba? Again, kapag PMP group, lahat sila phenylalanine deaminase positive. Yan ang kanilang common characteristics. So ang Proteus nahiwalay na natin kanina. Again, ang kapag Proteus swarming positive, H2S positive. And then take a look at the indole para ma-separate mo ang Mirabilis and Vulgaris. How about Providencia versus Morganella? Paano mo sila i-separate? So, you're going to take a look at the citrate reaction. Okay? If the citrate is positive, the answer is Providencia. If the citrate is negative, the answer is Morganella. That's how you separate them. Okay? So that is for the PMP group. Next is the Serratia. For the Serratia class, again, this is late lactose fermenting, di ba? So, ang Serratia class, besides being late lactose fermenting, you can also perform DNase test. It is the only member of the Enterobacteriaceae that is DNase positive. Ibig sabihin noon, it is able to lyse DNA. Okay? It is DNase positive. Yan ang characteristic ni Serratia. Okay? Another one is that it is also ONPG positive. Now, you have two significant isolate. But the pathogen here commonly isolated is of course the Serratia marquescens. Yung isa, Serratia odorifera, this is just a contaminant na nakikita sa environment. Pero yung pathogen talaga is the Serratia marquescens. Now, Serratia marquescens, that is found sa water. Okay, that's why possible siyang maging contaminant ng mga IV solutions or medical solutions. Kasi nga kapag yung water na ginamit to dilute the solution ay kontaminado, doon siya pwede mag-cause ng infection. Okay? It can contaminate medical devices such as urinary catheter, respirator, IV fluid, and other medical solutions. Now, besides being DNA positive and ONPG positive, Serratia marquescens also produces a pigment known as prodigiosin. That's why if you culture that on the Maconchi agar, it's going to have a red color. So wala nang iba pa na kulay pula sa Maconchi, only Serratia marquescens yan. Okay? Kapag red na red sa Maconchi, ang sagot is Serratia marquescens because of the red pigment prodigiosin. Okay? Now, next is, so that is the Serratia marquescens. Next is the primary intestinal pathogen. So again, tatlo yan, the Salmonella, Shigella, and also the Yersinia. So ano mo na characteristic ni Salmonella? Saan mo nakukuha ka ng Salmonella? You can get Salmonella either from eating directly yung infected na chicken or eggs. Kasi nga class ng Salmonella, nakikita talaga yan sa mga manok, sa mga poultry. Meron talagang salmonella doon. So kung nakain mo yon, magkakasalmonella infection ka. Or nakakain ka ng contaminated food and water prepared by a person na carrier ng salmonella. Okay? So, yun ang mga way para magkaroon ka ng salmonella. Pwedeng contaminado yung tubig or pagkain or kumain ka ng food na niluto ng someone na carrier ng salmonella. Or nakakain ka nga merong ng eggs or chicken na may salmonella. That's how you get the infection. Okay? Now, for the salmonella, meron siyang primary species. You have the enterica that causes human infection. You also have Bongorid, that is the animal pathogen. So, ano general characteristic ng salmonella? Pagdating class sa biochemical test, biochemically, they are negative. Negative sila class sa mga biochemical test. Okay? Ano lang ang active sa kanila? Ang active sa kanila is the citrate utilization. It is citrate positive and it is also H2S positive. So they produce hydrogen sulfide gas with black precipitate. Okay, yan ang characteristic ni Salmonella. Okay? Now, for the Salmonella, meron kang for the Salmonella enterica class, meron kang different subspecies. You have the Enterica arizonae, salami. Okay, so ito yung mga subspecies ng Enterica. However, class, pagdating sa diagnosis, it can be further divided by performing serotypes. Okay? So, ano yung mga serotype na significant? You have the serotype typhi, the serotype paratyphi, and the serotype cholera suis. Ito yung mga significant serotype ng salmonella associated with infection. Kapag tinamaan ka ng serotype typhi, magkakaroon ka ng typhoid fever. What happens to you? Meron kang headache, abdominal cramping, constipation, and high fever. That is for the typhoid fever. Pwede ka rin magkaroon ng enteric fever. When you say enteric fever, you have prolonged fever with prolonged fever being caused by Salmonella paratyphi and cholera suis that can lead to sepsis or bacteremia. So, pwede ka magkaroon ng bacteremia or sepsis kapag tinamaan ka ng paratyphi or cholera suis. Okay? Gastroenteritis can also happen. Okay? Pwede ka magkaroon ng food poisoning gastroenteritis characterized by vomiting and diarrhea. As long as meron kang salmonella infection, regardless kung anong serotype yan, ang tawag doon ay salmonellosis. Again, basta meron kang salmonella infection, regardless kung anong serotype, ang tawag ay salmonellosis. Now, you can also become a carrier ng salmonella. Paano ka nagiging carrier ng salmonella? These are people na nagkaroon dati ng typhoid fever or salmonella typhi. Tapos, gumaling sila from the infection. However, they do not 100% clear the pathogen. May naiwan pa rin sa kanilang katawan. And that bacteria resided on their gallbladder. So from the gallbladder, it can migrate sa kanilang gastrointestinal tract. So tuwing dumudumi sila, nilalabas nila yung salmonella. That's why kapag nag-prepare sila ng food at kontaminado yung kamay nila ng salmonella, pwede nilang ipasa yung salmonella sa mga kumakain ng pagkain nila. Okay? That's how nagkakaroon ng spread through carrier. Okay? So, ayan. So, okay, so this is the enteric fever. Kapag enteric fever, meron kang prolonged fever with bacteremia. And then the bacteria, it can spread to your body. Mupunta siya sa rest system, particularly sa liver, spleen, intestine, and mesentery. That's why kumakalat siya sa different organs. That's why nakakarating siya sa gallbladder mo. Kaya ka nga nagiging carrier. Okay? Nagiging carrier ka, class. Kasi nga nakakarating siya sa gallbladder mo. Okay? Now, enteric fever caused by the Salmonella typhi is known as typhoid fever. Okay? Again, kapag cause ng typhi, ang tawag ay typhoid fever. So, magkaka-typhoid fever ka from eating food contaminated with water, contaminated with salmonella, coming from the carrier. So, kapag kinain mo, yung pagkain na luto ni carrier, magkakaroon ka ng salmonella typhi. Okay? Wala siyang animal reservoir. Hindi siya nakukuha sa mga chickens. Okay? Yung iba naman, enteric fever, it causes paratyphoid fever, being caused by Salmonella paratyphi A, B, and C, and Salmonella serotype cholerae suis. Now, this infection is common sa atin kasi nga part tayo ng tropical countries. Okay? Another characteristic ng typhoid fever is yung mga tao meron silang tinatawag na rose spots on the abdomen. Okay, wherein pag inangat mo pag tinignan mo yung kanilang abdomen, meron silang mga red rashes or red colored papules on their umbilical region. That is the rose spots on the abdomen. Okay? So this is what the salmonella looks like kapag nag-culture ka. So for the culture, we use either XLD agar or SSA agar. Again, salmonella produces H2S. Kaya nga naman, meron siyang black precipitate like this one. So yung colonies niya on the XLD is color red with black precipitate. That is for the salmonella. Sa chrome agar, it is purplish pink like this one. Okay? Okay. So let's go to Shigella. Ngayong class ng Shigella naman, ano class yung infection na tinatawag natin dito? Once nagkaroon ka ng Shigella, ang tawag doon ay shigellosis na. Shigellosis, okay? So for the shigellosis, it may begin as watery diarrhea characterized by fever and abdominal cramp. So sobrang sakit ng tiyan mo. Nagtatai ka with abdominal cramp, okay? It is highly communicable. Just as low as 100 bacilli, you're going to get a disease. Ganon siya kalas katindi. At paano mo ba nakukuha si Shigella? Kapag kumain ka ng food na nadapuan ng langaw. Kasi yung mga langaw na yan, sa saan nang galing? Yung langaw dumapo sa tae. Tapos, yung langaw na yan dumapo sa pagkain mo, kinain mo naman. Okay? Or, mga bata na kumakain na hindi naguhugas ng kamay. Diba? From the contaminated finger. Pwede rin yung contaminated food and water. Okay? So, that's why ang pinaka-common na tinatamaan ng Shigella, yung mga bata. Kasi nga yung mga bata, younger than 1 year of age, hindi naman sila conscious na maghugas lagi ng kamay, di ba? Kaya nga naman sila nagkakaroon ng Shigella infection. So, marami kang different types of Shigella. Meron kang Shigella suni. Kapag Shigella suni class, ito yung magtatai ka lang for 1 day, tapos kinabukasan okay ka na. It causes self-limiting diarrhea lang. Meron ka lang fever with watery diarrhea at sobrang sakit lang ng tiyan mo. Ganon din klase Shigella flexneri. However, class, associated siya sa mga HIV patients. Okay? However, kapag tinamaan ka ni Shigella dysentery type 1, ito yung delikado class. This can cause bacillary dysentery characterized by bloody stool with mucus and pus on the stool. So ito yung watery diarrhea talaga. Okay? Watery diarrhea na may blood, mucus, and pus on the stool. Yan ang characteristic ni dysentery or bacillary dysentery. Kapag tinamaan ka man ng dysentery type 1, pwede ka magkaroon ng complication known as DAHAS. Okay? So, pwedeng tamaan yung kidneys mo, leading to kidney failure, hemolytic anemia, and low platelet count. So, magbibilid ka. Meron kang bleeding kapag meron kang dysentery type 1. Okay? Kasi nga, it can lead to complication known as the Hus or hemolytic uremic syndrome. So, anong characteristic ni Shigella? For the biochemical reaction, puro siya negative sa kanyang biochemical reaction. Even the H2S is negative. So that's how you separate Salmonella from Shigella. Take a look at the H2S reaction. Kapag negative siya sa black precipitate, it can be Shigella. And how do you isolate this one? Again, it grows in XLD agar and SSA agar. So, when you say agar, ano yung mga agar niya ulit? Okay. So, yung kanyang agar, XLD agar or SSA agar. SSA stands for Salmonella Shigella agar. Okay? For XLD, it stands for xylose lysine desoxycholate agar. So, tutubo rin siya dito sa XLD. Pero ang itsura niya, hindi ganyan. Ano lang siya, red clear colonies. Besides sa XLD tsaka SSA, tutubo rin siya sa hectoenteric agar or HE agar. Okay? Sa HE agar, they will give you clear green colony. Clear green colony. Walang H2S, clear green colony lang sa HE agar. Okay? That is for the Shigella. Okay. So to differentiate the different types of Shigella, these are the different biochemical tests. So again, this is what it looks like sa HE agar, clear green colonies. So let's go to Yersinia. Ang Yersinia class, again, hindi siya normal ha. Hindi siya normal sa ating katawan. Kasi nga, nakikita to sa environment, di ba? So anong characteristic ni Yersinia that can differentiate it from the rest of the Enterobacteriaceae? Take note that Yersinia, it can grow from 4 degrees up to 43 degrees Celsius. Siya lang ang kayang tumubo hanggang 43 degrees Celsius, ang Yersinia. That separates it from the rest of the Enterobacteriaceae. Okay? Ganun ka-wide ang temperature range siya. Pwedeng malamig, pwedeng sobrang init. Okay? So yung first pathogen natin dito is the Yersinia pestis. This is the one that causes the bubonic plague. And how do you get the plague? You will be bitten by a rat flea. Okay? So yung rat, meron siyang flea, kinagat ka. Or nasinghot mo yung droppings ng rats. Or droppings ng infected animal or infected patient. Okay? Pwedeng nasinghot mo yung kanyang mga droplets ng pasyente, droppings nung daga, okay? Or infected animal. That's how you get the infection. So, meron kang dalawang klaseng plague. Meron kang bubonic plague. Yung bubonic plague class, this happens kapag kinagat ka nung flea ng daga. Okay? Yung pneumonic plague naman, nangyayari yan if you're able to inhale yung contaminated droplets or droppings ng mga daga or kumain ka nung undercooked meat that can lead to infection. Okay? So regardless of the form, both of them are a very high in mortality rate. So kapag bubonic plague, what will happen? Yung nagkakaroon ka kasi tawag na bubo or swollen lymph nodes. Yung mga kulani mo, nagiging maga ang kulani hanggang maging purplish yung mga kulani mo. Ang tawag dyan ay buboes or swollen lymph nodes. Okay? Yung pneumonic plague naman, magkakaroon ka ng respiratory failure which is always fatal. Okay, rapidly fatal yan class kapag pneumonic plague. It can also lead to sepsis as well, kaya nakakamatay siya. So anong class ang characteristic ng Yersinia pestis? You can perform what they call the Wasson staining. Kapag Wasson stain class, papatakan mo siya ng methylene blue or Wasson stain and then take a look at the safety pin appearance of the bacteria. Ibig sabihin noon, at the opposite end of the bacilli, mayroong accumulation ng stain that makes it look like a safety pin. Okay? That is for the Wasson stain or the bipolar staining ng Yersinia pestis. Now, next is the enterocolitica and pseudotuberculosis. Pagdating sa infection class, they are both similar. They both cause what you call appendicitis-like syndrome. So, akala mo appendicitis pero hindi pala. So, anong difference nila? Difference nila class is the source of the bacteria. Enterocolitica, nakukuha siya sa domestic swine, cats, and dogs, whereas pseudotuberculosis, more on sa mga domestic birds, turkey, geese, pigeon, dove, and canary. Sa mga ibon, ang pseudotuberculosis. Sa ibon yan, you can inhale the droplets that can cause formation of pseudotubercles in your lungs. So, magkaroon ka ng infiltration sa lungs mo. Those are the pseudotubercles. Okay? It can also go to your blood causing a condition known as um, mesenteric lymphadenitis that looks like appendicitis. Okay? So magkakaroon ka ng sepsis kasi nga nasa blood mo na, presented by that is accompanied by mesenteric lymphadenitis that looks like appendicitis ang kanyang clinical presentation. Okay? So how do you besides the source of the microorganism, how do you separate the two? For the enterocolitica, you have to take a look at the culture characteristic on the CIN agar. On the CIN agar or the Cephsolodin ergosanovobiosin, like this one, it can give you bullseye colony. So kapag bullseye colony sa CIN agar, ang sagot mo na is Yersinia enterocolitica. Besides that, you can also perform temperature studies. Enterocolitica is motile at 25. However, it is non-motile at 35 degrees Celsius. So, yan ang characteristic ni Yersinia enterocolitica. Okay? Yung isa naman, the pseudotuberculosis, you can check its motility. It is motile at 18 to 22 degrees Celsius. It also produces urease enzyme and it can ferment rhamnose. So, those are the characteristic of the Yersinia pseudotuberculosis. Okay? For the infection, parehong kanilang presentation. Appendicitis-like syndrome. Okay? So that is for the Yersinia. So again, that is a topic for today. Okay? So let's stop. Saan na ba?